we demanding?
Free Ojukwu now!
What are we demanding?
Free Ojukwu now!
I think you should call his full name. His full name.
What are we demanding? What are we demanding? What are we demanding?
I said free Ojukwu. Free Daniel Ojukwu. Release Daniel Ojukwu. What are we demanding? What are we demanding?
4 months. He's going to leave in September. I heard that he's trying to extend his tenure. Let him forget his tenure will never be extended.
Yes.
They should go and ask Adamu, the former IGP here. He went and paid Buhari's boys 3 billion naira to extend his extension.
When I remember Tinubu, we remember corruption.
Yes, because FIJ Nigeria, Foundation for Investigative Journalism, one of the best foundation investigating crimes in official quarters, wrote a story that linked the IGP also with a crime. But the IGP of the police has no right to use the police to oppress anybody. Yes. Because it's not his personal property.
Exactly.
And we must remind the IGP.
What are we demanding? What are we demanding? What are we demanding?
A free press and public participation are fundamental pillars of our democracy. Thus, the continuous silencing of journalists and civic actors who hold power accountable undermines the provisions of Section 22 and 39 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, which guarantees the freedom of the press and the freedom of expression, respectively. Furthermore, the coordinated use of state resources, the mischievous interpretation and hyper-applications of law, especially the Cybercrimes Act of 2015, which has now been amended, and the abuse of power and public institutions are all draconian tactics deployed to further shrink Nigeria's fragile civic space. These tactics have no place in a democracy, where accountability and transparency in government are essential. Particularly, the recent abduction and continued detention of Daniel Ojukwu, a journalist with the Foundation for Investigative Journalism, FIJ, exemplifies the disregard for the rule of law and the democratic principles. Mr. Ojukwu's fundamental human rights have been blatantly violated. Even though the Nigeria police has filed no formal charges, he remains in custody. Additionally, Daniel's unlawful arrest and detention contravenes the combined reading and cumulative effect of sections 34, 35, and 41 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, which protects his right to respect for dignity of his person, personal liberty, and freedom of movement. Daniel Ojukwu's case is the most recent in a recurring trend of similar attacks and harassment aimed at the media and other civic actors by the Nigerian law enforcement and security agents. The familiar pattern these attacks seem to take is that the instrumentality of the Nigerian security apparatus is set loose on these individuals as soon as they express views unfavorable to the administration, or in the case of journalists, as soon as they publish credible stories that cast the administration in an unflattering light. The expression of opinions, however critical, that are of the government, is one of the critical bedrocks of democracy. Consequently, We unequivocally condemn Daniel Ojukwu's abduction and unlawful detention as unconstitutional, illegal, immoral, and unbecoming of a country that claims to practice democracy. We maintain that for Nigeria to claim its status as the continent's largest democracy, the institutions and law enforcement agencies must uphold established standards and procedures consistent with democratic norms. Until then, Nigeria cannot reconcile the title of the largest democracy in Africa with the practices and principles reminiscent of a police state. We also condemn the incessant use and abuse of the remand order process, which observed to be the new machinery for which the Nigeria police continuously violates the rights of Nigerian citizens. It is discovered that the police boast of obtaining a remand order without providing such a document for the suspect or his lawyers to see whenever they unlawfully arrest individuals. Even when such orders are obtained, it is usually cloaked with suspicion, as the court from which it is obtained is usually miles away from the police station where the suspect is detained, even where there is an established court within a shorter distance of the police station. This is contrary to the rule of law, and it should be of great concern to the police that it would be seen by the general public as an institution that acts and conducts its duties contrary to the rule of law, which is critical to the sustenance of our democracy. Mr. Daniel Ojukwu, if he has been accused of a crime, should be promptly charged and given a fair trial under Nigerian law, which presumes innocence until proven guilty. As such, his continued detention is equivalent to an extrajudicial trial and punishment.
Exactly.
It is in the Inspector General of Police interest to offer opportunities for the international community to rate the Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration's compliance and respect for its fundamental human rights commitment positively. Premised on the above, we demand the following. 1. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kayode Egbetokun, ensures Daniel's immediate release and uphold his fundamental human rights, as his continued detention without charges undermines Nigeria's democratic standing and risks further erosion of public trust. 2. State resources are redirected towards securing the lives and property of Nigerian citizens, rather than the abuse, assault, and attacks on civic actors. Number 3, a right-based review of laws that are subject to vexatious interpretations, amending them to reflect democratic norms and principles. Number 4, invitations by the police should be in writing.
Exactly.
It should be documented. And it should be undersigned by their legal representatives.
Exactly.
It is completely illegal to arbitrarily show up and pick somebody without stating any cause. And number 5, all requests for individuals to accompany law enforcement personnel to a station for questioning or detainment should be documented with a duly authorized warrant and acknowledged in writing by the individual, ensuring that their legal rights are understood. This has been signed by 21 non-governmental organizations and millions of Nigerians that are concerned about this issue. You may now respond, sir.
Is this, that I have heard you and I have heard all your demands. This will be communicated to the appropriate authorities, and I assure you that our Inspector General of Police will definitely take a step towards the liberation of Daniel Ojukwu. Or if it means charging him, it will be done so accordingly. Thank you very much. I am CP Vongmo Kwaimo.
And what's your position, sir?
I am the Commissioner of Police in charge of federal operations.
Should we be expecting that Daniel will be discharged today?
Well, I cannot speak for my seniors. I said that I will communicate to them, and I believe that appropriate action will be taken. Please, I really appreciate the way you people came in, and I want you to go back in peace and without people hijacking this situation to commit other crimes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
to say that Daniel should get a very good lawyer because this has gotten out of hand. He's in court and all of that, and here you are demanding.
This is not about getting a good lawyer. Daniel was unlawfully arrested and is unlawfully detained because he wrote a story. He's not a criminal. The valid information in the reports basically looks at what he has written. Somebody used 147 million naira to implement a project from government funds, from the funds which are from the taxes of Nigerians. Daniel has just taken that information and written and validated that information that the project that was implemented is nowhere to be found. But you know, he's been in prison for that purpose. So the question is, what has he done to demand that he's a criminal? So he doesn't need a good lawyer. We are saying charge him to court, charge him for whatever he has done, and let's see if we will not bring a good lawyer. So that's the situation here. My name is Friday Ode from Accountability Lab. Friday Ode from Accountability Lab. ODEH. ODEH. My thought around this basically is to see that human rights, fundamental human rights of citizens are upheld, and we are all civic actors, we are all journalists. We are all going to speak truth to power. The thing we see within the Nigerian space and the idea behind the unlawful arrest and detention of Daniel Ojukwu was because he wrote a story about accountability and transparency in government. Once you speak out and speak truth to power, it feels like we are not safe in this country. So what we have to demand accountability, we have to hold our government to account to the monies they spend according to how they spend, engage on fiscal reforms or fiscal transparency. If you look at the budget where Ojukwu has taken, Daniel has taken information from, it's from the national budget, from procurement processes, and also the reports which is on the Open Gov Transparency website. But now he's been detained he's been detained and handled as a criminal. We say this is unacceptable, this is unwarranted, and we demand his release immediately. We want a country where people are able to speak, because freedom of expression is a guaranteed right for Nigerians. So we are able to speak truth to power.
Daniel being in the cell. No! And so Daniel being in the cell violates his fundamental human rights, according to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Exactly.
And so that is why we are here. What are we demanding?
Free Ojukwu now.
What are we demanding?
Free Ojukwu now.
I think you should call his full name. He's made up a statement to the press, as well as the representative, the Commissioner of Police that represented the Inspector General. So there is one thing we need to do, and we will watch within the next few hours. Notice, and it's in the morning of a working day. So thank you so much for coming. We have demanded. If nothing is done, we will take another action. I said, free Ojukwu, free Daniel Ojukwu, release Daniel Ojukwu. What are we demanding? Free Daniel Ojukwu. What are we demanding? Free Daniel Ojukwu. On Sunday, Daniel was brought from Lagos to Abuja. And as I speak to you, Daniel is currently at 4 CID in a cell at 4. What do you call that? Who should be protecting our lives?
We
have demanded. If nothing is done, we will take another action. So there is one we need to do, and we will watch within the next few hours.
When I remember Tinubu, we remember Abuja. What are we demanding? Release Daniel Ojukwu now. What are we demanding? Release Daniel Ojukwu now. What are we demanding? Release Daniel Ojukwu now. When I remember Tinubu, we remember corruption.
Notice, and it's in the morning of a working day. So thank you so much for coming. When I remember Daniel, what
challenge. Another challenge.
Our statement to the press, as well as the representative, the Commissioner of Police that represented the Inspector General.
1 month.